Welcome to my channel. Today we're diving into 5 things every self-proclaimed lazy middle-aged man should try if they want to avoid or even reverse the middle-age health slump and weight gain. My name is Ed Paget. I'm an osteopath and lifestyle medicine coach, and I want to help you feel younger, stronger and healthier. Let me ask you this. Do you feel like your age is catching up with you? Maybe you're a little bit heavier than you would like to be. Maybe your eyesight isn't as sharp as it once was, or your joints ache a little bit more than they should, or maybe even you've experienced a dip in libido. Now, underneath the hood, your blood pressure can actually be high, your hormones can be shot, and your mental well-being can be suffering. Now, most people would say these things are common signs of middle age, but I disagree. And I'm going to show you 5 things that you can do about it. But before we jump into those tips, we need to cover a crucial bit of information that 99% of people don't know about. And it can make or break your success with these tips that I'm going to give you. Now, firstly, from a physiological point of view, our ability to gain muscle decreases as we age. If we don't actively seek to stay strong, our muscles will tend to waste. The scientific term for this is called sarcopenia. Now, secondly, a decrease in muscle mass means we need to consume less energy. Now, this is an important part because less muscle mass means our body's capacity to handle sugar also decreases. That's because muscle is a great way to use up sugar very quickly. And less of it means the extra sugar that we might eat will be converted to fat. So if we don't match our caloric intake with our caloric needs, we will gain extra fat. This extra fat, as scientists are discovering, can produce hormones. Couple this with the added stress of middle-age responsibilities, and this can lead to a dysregulation of our normal hormonal rhythms. Now, these are the confluence of factors that can lead to a Dad-Bod. Simply put, decreased muscle from inactivity plus no change or even an increase in calories consumed equals more fat storage. Add to this the stresses of middle age, and we have a hormonal dysregulation, high blood pressure, cardiovascular disease, decreased mental well-being, and a host of other physical and psychological problems that affect men in their 40s, 50s, and 60s. But there is good news. These 5 tips have been well proven to reverse these physical and mental changes. You just need to do them. So tip number 1, get moving and stay active. So even when we don't lose muscle, a sedentary lifestyle is a major contributor to weight gain. Put bluntly, the World Health Organization estimates that physical inactivity is responsible for around 2 million deaths annually, and wards it could be among the top 10 leading causes of death and disability worldwide. Regular physical activity reduces the risk of cardiovascular disease, diabetes, obesity, and mental health disorders. In order to do this, we need to start with small, achievable goals and incorporate more movement into a daily routine. Simple actions like doing 1 press-up a day or a squat or taking a little 5-minute run could help build a healthy habit. Now, some people say, well, they don't have time for this. Let me tell you a story. The 19th century athlete Walter George spent long hours working as a pharmacist, and as a result, he couldn't train as a runner. Instead, he started running on the spot between his customers. Now, this training led him to be very successful. He ended up holding the world record for running the quickest mile, and that record wasn't beaten for 30 years. But tip number 2, I want you to embrace strength training. See, to counteract the muscle loss, we need to do more than just run on the spot or do a push-up occasionally. We have to do something that involves resistance. That means moving something that isn't easily moved, like a weight or a band. So not only does it help with weight management, but it also helps improve balance, coordination, and keeps the hormonal system running just fine. So when compared to men in their 20s, only a small percentage of middle-aged men actually meet the recommended daily guidelines for muscle strengthening activities. Now, this can be due to the business of work or family commitments. But however, I always question people who I work with about how busy they really are. Yep, I'm thinking about scrolling, spending too much time online. And in the 20 years I've been coaching, I usually find people can fit exercise into their daily routines. So incorporate strength training into your daily routine. You don't actually need a gym. You can keep weights around the house and lift them as you pass by, maybe when you're on phone calls, or whenever you want, you can just lift up a kid or someone else's kid. Okay, don't do that, but you know, you get the idea. Simple exercise like squats and lunges can also be done at home. You just need to make it a habit. And strength training twice a week can make a significant difference in maintaining muscle mass and overall health. Okay, next tip. You got to moderate your alcohol consumption. You see, many middle-aged men shift from binge drinking in their youth to more sort of regular alcohol consumption. And in a recent interview on my podcast, Your Lifestyle is Your Medicine, I interviewed Kevin Smith. He was drinking 5 days a week and he was beginning to feel the spread of middle age. But he had an epiphany about 2 years ago when he realized that his groggy mornings were the reason he was seeking out bad food and not going to the gym. So once he cut back and eventually cut out drinking, he had tons more energy and he went to the gym, which then inevitably changed his diet. So he joined a CrossFit gym and he's been at it ever since. So now he's the strongest he's ever been and he's rocking the body of a 20-year-old. Now, what Kevin did might not be for everybody. Many people believe that giving up alcohol is akin to social suicide, but the group 1 Year No Beer advocates a more moderate approach. You can limit your alcohol intake to special occasions and avoid making it a daily habit. They are a great resource for anyone who wants to re-examine their relationship with alcohol. But also, I've found that the advent of decent tasting non-alcoholic options means that not drinking doesn't mean not socializing. Okay, tip number 4. You got to pay attention to food labels. And just like my old science teacher used to tell me, this is boring but important. The modern food environment is filled with ultra-processed foods. That means foods high in fat, sugar and salt. Now these foods might just lie at the core of our current obesity and heart disease epidemics. Our human brain is wired to seek out sugar, salt and fat. Now back when we were evolving, these foods were in short supply, but they provided essential calories and nutrients for our survival. Now this was great back then, but we still have the legacy of our more primitive brains. And we've managed to couple that with our ingenious ability to satisfy our primitive brains. And the companies make a profit at the same time. So unfortunately, these highly addictive foods are marketed aggressively and can contribute to weight gain and other health issues. But they are very addictive and hard to give up. So I want you to look at the food labels, try and choose whole, minimally processed foods, prepare meals at home with fresh ingredients when you can, and avoid foods with long ingredient lists and that are high in additives. It really comes down to prioritizing nutrient-dense foods over convenience options. And this can significantly improve your diet. I know it might sound a little preachy, but finding time to cook with fresh food is one of the best things you can do for your body. Now, if you genuinely have no time, there are some great resources out there from companies like HelloFresh in the UK, which will deliver fresh food to your house, or Dashing Dishes in Canada, which offer meal kits for pickup. Tip number 5, maintaining mental and social health. Okay, a study in the British Medical Journal found that cognitive decline can begin as early as 45 years old, meaning that we have to keep our brains active as we age. Now, interestingly, the better we are at something, the less we use our brain. So to illustrate this, researchers did a study back in 2003, and they showed that professional musicians used a smaller area of their brain than amateur musicians when they were playing music. Meaning the mental effort it takes to learn music or even a language is greater than playing or speaking the language once you're fluent. The act of learning stimulates the brain. So engaging in activities that are mentally stimulating like puzzles and board games will help. But as Tommy Wood, Associate Professor of Neurology at Washington University, recently said on my podcast, it doesn't compare to learning something new like a language or better yet, dancing. The reason being is that dancing is a physical and mental challenge. Along with training the brain, we should maintain our social connections by scheduling regular meetups with friends or joining clubs and community groups, something that middle-aged men tend not to do. Now, if we can do activities that combine the physical and the mental engagement, such as playing a sport, attending classes, this is going to be really beneficial. I've noticed a massive uptake in a game called pickleball in my community. And I've seen people who've had a myriad of health complaints from high blood pressure and reflux to high cholesterol get the medical all clear by losing 10 pounds and running about a bit. So middle age doesn't have to be inevitable weight gain and physical decline. By staying active, incorporating strength training, moderate alcohol consumption, making mindful food choices, and maintaining mental and social health, men can defy the myth of the unavoidable middle-age spread and dad-bod. They can end up enjoying a healthier, more vibrant life. Now, if you want my help in coaching you back to your optimal self, then reach out to me via the Contact Us page at my website, edpadgett.com, which is also linked in the description below. Make sure you like and subscribe this video so that you'll get notified for the next one, which will be up shortly.